Alright guys, I'm back. I wanted to do one last lesson tonight, and it's the basic, from what I've learned in my years of playing, of trying to jam someone or trying to speed up into their chest. Now the basic idea is trying to catch your opponent by surprise by hitting a faster shot into their chest area. Now there's two sort of ways that this is executed, in my opinion. Basically, there are certain shots that are easier or harder to do this, but I'm not going to talk about that now. I'm going to talk about, well, hey, you've taken a shot and there's a shot that's been made on you, and you're like, okay, I'm going to pretend like I'm going to do this soft, and then I'm just going to go hard at the person into their chest area. There's two ways you can do this. You can actually try to hit them. You're either trying to hit them or you're trying to get them to hit a ball that would be going out. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase. There's two ways you can do it. You're either hitting a ball that's going to go out if they get out of the way, or you're hitting a ball that's going to go in even if they do get out of the way. So generally, I would advise, unless you have good accuracy, you can try to hit the person, or you can, if you've noticed that they tend to try to hit everything, then you might want to hit a ball that's going to go out, because those are harder to control for your opponent. But generally, I would say you want to try to hit a ball that's going to go in. So if you've decided to do this, you're going to still try to hit a nice low shot into their chest area. I haven't gotten good enough at aiming to their actual, we're supposed to aim for their upper right shoulder of their paddle hand. I haven't quite got to that level yet. I usually just aim for their chest and hope for the best. But if you are that accurate, then hey, go for it. And then if you want to start playing mind games on them, and you think they think you're going to do that, maybe you can go for the other side, or whatever. But the idea of what you're doing is this: to catch them by surprise. Okay, by catching them by surprise, you want them to either miss the ball, like hit it into the net, or it could hit them. Either way, that's a point. Or generally, what happens is you get them to pop it up. Okay, that's usually what you're aiming for. The other ones, of course, are great, but you want some type of pop up, some type of punishable ball. So you're really in tune after your speed up for a high ball. And this is what happens in this point. Um, Ferreira is going to hit it to Gerke, who is closest to us. Ferreira is the female on the far side. She's going to hit a decent shot, and uh, fairly fairly punishable ball. It's kind of in between, and Gerke decides to speed it up into Tursky, but Tursky is prepared for it, and this will happen when you're playing. Is your opponent is ready for it, especially if you've done it before, and at this point, um, I think the proper move is, like I said, you're looking for the pop-up, but if you don't get the pop-up, a lot of players will tend to continue to speed up. They'll try to, if the opponent hits the ball back to you, you try to jam them, but they stab it back to you, or they defense back to you. Most players will continue to try to go hard at their opponent, but I think the proper move, especially if it's a low ball, is to soften it up. So you have to learn to uh, recognize, after you speed up on your opponent, um, you're really looking, hey, is it a pop-up? No. Is it low? You really have to make that quick judgment of whether you can punish that ball. And if you can't, do not try to continue to hit hard, because you're now in a bad spot to be hitting it hard if it's coming low, because that's one of the Biggest ways to hit into somebody's wheelhouse is to hit a ball that's low hard, because it generally just comes right up into their wheelhouse. And the harder you hit a ball at someone, the harder they can hit it back, the quicker it gets to their paddle. And it's just, in general, in pickleball, it's a bad idea to hit low balls hard. So that applies to anywhere on the court, really. I mean, you can catch people by surprise, mainly at the kitchen, if you're at, in like a dinking position, and then all of a sudden you go hard, up at them. You can catch them by surprise, but in general, you do not want to do that. So you'll see in this point what happens here, and what I wanted to show you is, here's the return by Frere. Now watch. So she goes hard to Tursky. Tursky is ready for it, and he hits a nice defense of this speed up, the nice low, nice trajectory down. Now, the mistake I think that Gerke makes is trying to continue to go hard when it was defensed properly. I think the better shot here would be to go soft, but she tries to go hard back, and she ends up just popping it up, and Tursky punishes it. So that's what I wanted to show you. That's the next level of speeding up on someone, is recognizing when it fails and knowing that you have to be defensive.